At wala pa akong ma-acknowledge. O, nandito pala si Miss LV, yung walang kapaguran for the good of our commuters. So, traffic, pero wala tayong masakyan. May masasakyan man, minsan kolorum naman. Ito na ata ang kinatandaan ng sistema ng mga commuter sa Pilipinas. Ayon sa datos ng Land Transportation Office, mayroong humigit kumulang 19.2 milyong motorsiklo sa bansa. This is roughly 87% of all registered motor vehicles as of 2022. Imagine 87% ito. 1 out of 3 Filipino households own a motorcycle and 51% of them use it for livelihood. As early as 2018, the senators have already called the Department of Transportation to consider the legalization of motorcycles for hire in the same way it recognized new forms of transport services under Department Order number 2015-11. This is to promote mobility. While they did not take this track, we appreciate that our transport agencies kept an open mind on the possibility of motorcycle for hire in the country and for spearheading a pilot testing. A technical working group which conducted the pilot implementation on motorcycles for hire, more commonly known as motorcycle or MC taxis, was deemed as the best option for the government to determine if indeed the Philippines is ready for a motorcycle taxi regime. Kung baga, trial period. Para malaman kung swak sa ating pangangailangan natin before we fully commit to it. After more than 4 years of continuous studies by the TWG, it now appears without a doubt that commuters are overwhelmingly in favor of legalizing motorcycle taxis. The latest TWG survey reports a whopping 96% of the motorcycle taxi passengers surveyed believe that the government should allow motorcycles as a mode of public transportation. Commuters favor MC taxis' affordability and quicker conveyance time in our clogged streets of urban centers where MC taxis were allowed to operate. Riders, even habals, lobby for a legal regime as it stands to give them a viable source of income and livelihood. Before I continue, I'd like to acknowledge our hardworking Vice Chair of the Committee on Public Services, Senator J.V. Ejercito. Interestingly enough, as regards the question of who should regulate this new species, the TWG study proposes to give the jurisdiction over MC taxis to LTFRB for operations within metropolitan areas and to the LGUs for all other areas, not much different to the current regulation of tricycles. This is something that we can discuss as policymakers. To me, this pilot study is the strength of this policy. Maaga pa lamang ay nakita na natin ang implementasyon, ang mga gaps sa implementation so that regulators have enough time to come up with solutions or interventions to improve its regulations once legalized. Now that we are convinced of the need for MC taxis, new questions crop up. Are we now ready to welcome more players? Is it time for the TWG to conclude its pilot study and submit its final recommendations to Congress? The biggest issue from then until now is the safety aspect. The most recent global status report for road safety of the World Health Organization, nearly 30% of all road crash deaths involve powered 2- and 3-wheeled vehicles such as motorcycles, mopeds, scooters, and electrical bikes, e-bikes, and the numbers are rising. This is even higher in Southeast Asia, where 43% of all road traffic deaths involve 2- and 3-wheelers. The established vulnerability of motorcycle as a mode of transportation calls for the government to step in. We need to legalize to reflect the reality on the ground, but we also need the highest safety standard to make this a true mobility alternative. Today's hearing is the first part of the two-pronged vision to not only legalize, but also create a regulatory and safety framework on the transport network vehicle system. 4 years and a global pandemic later, we believe it is now time for Congress to use the data points from the ground to craft a policy that is responsive to the needs of the commuting public and all the stakeholders of the ever-growing MC taxi industry. I would also like to acknowledge one of our team members, Senator Nancy Binay. Thank you for being here. So with that, perhaps if any of my colleagues would like to give a brief opening statement. Senator JB.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everybody. Anyway, we were overtaken by events because of the use of technology, no, and it has been 4 years since the provincial authority to operate was granted to the motorcycle taxis and the courier and other courier services. And I agree, and I'd like to thank the chair for already scheduling this hearing to hear the measures that seeks to legalize already, so that there will already be a framework. No? And I also agree with the chair that aside from the safety, I guess it's about time also that we look into other issues as well before we finally seek to pass this measure. I also filed Senate Bill number 167 upang masuportahan ang pagkakaroon ng maayos na regulasyon ng mga motorcycle taxis or public utility motorcycles na natitiyakin ng ating mga riders ay may sapat na proteksyon sa batas dahil sa pamamasada gamit ang kanilang motorsiklo bilang pangunahing buhay. And likewise, we also have to look at the commuters that will be making use of this. And likewise, Madam Chair, we saw the importance of the courier riders and motorcycle taxis, especially during the pandemic. I would say that they're one of the pandemic heroes, that without them, probably our economy would have been crippled totally, and that they played a big part in at least helping our economy, our businesses survive during the 2 years that of lockdowns and restricted movements. So, but again, our concern, I concur with our chair, is the safety and also other aspects, no, of having to approve finally, so that they will have already a basis, a law that would already cover. But again, we cannot discount the fact that the couriers and the motorcycle taxis really played a big part and a big role in our economy again during the pandemic. So with that, Madam Chair, I'm here, of course, to support you as always, and I'm here also to hear our resource persons present. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator JV. Before we begin, I'd like to ask the Secretary to please read the names of those present with their designation. And those of you who are online, please turn on your camera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Your Honors, and to all guests. Allow me to introduce the resource persons for today's public hearing. To our resource persons, if your name is called, please raise your hand so our senators can identify where you are seated. Thank you. From the Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board, from the Interagency Technical Working Group on Motorcycle Taxi, Attorney Paul Vincent Austria. From the Land Transportation Office, again from the Interagency Technical Working Group on Motorcycle Taxi, Attorney Zoj Daphne Angustia. From the Office of Transport Cooperatives, we have Chairperson Jesus Ferdinand Ortega. From the Interagency Council for Traffic, IACT, Mr. Charlie Apolinario del Rosario. From the Philippine Competition Commission, Mr. Kenneth Tanate, Executive Director. From the Metro Manila Development Authority, we have Engineer Dandy Bobadilla and Attorney Victor Pablo Trinidad. From the Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group, we have Police Brigadier General Raul Bargamento. From the Department of Interior and Local Government, we have Attorney Gino Lavarias. From the Department of Health, we have Medical Officer Dr. Alexander de la Fuente. From the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Special Investigator Ms. Fatima Milan. From the Department of Trade and Industry, Engineer Ariel de Inla. From the Department of Information and Communications Technology, present virtually, we have Director Carlo Morisha. From the Department of Labor and Employment, we have Attorney Sheena Liz A. Balite. For our motorcycle companies, from Angkas, we have CEO Mr. George Royeca. From Joyride, Vice President Mr. Rico Meneses. From Move It, we have General Manager Wayne Jacinto, present virtually. From Grab, Senior Executive Vice President Mr. Yu Heng Lim. From Toktok, Operations Supervisor Ms. Princess Carla Estrella. From EasyWay, we have Chairperson Ana Micolanza and CEO Hans De Una. From Maxim, we have Mr. Andres Morales Jr., the President. From Lalamove, we have Head of Regulatory and Strategy, Attorney Joy Cabenya. And for Transportify Philippines, we have Deputy Country Director, Mr. Noel Abelardo. For other commuter groups and motorcycle groups, we have from InfraWatch, present virtually, Mr. Terry Redon, and present physically, Mr. JP Redon of Public Health and Safety Policy Office. From the National Center for Commuter Safety and Protection, we have Chairperson Elvira Medina. From Commute, we have Ms. Toik Serna. From the Coalition of Filipino Commuters, National Convener Ira Panganiban. From Move Metro Manila, the lead convener, Dr. Grace Gorospe Hamon. From the Motorcycle Development Program Participants Association, or MDPPA, President Mr. Nerminio Boying Mojica. From Riders Centro, Spokesperson Mr. John J. Chan. From Visor Philippines, we have their motorcycle editor, Mr. Andy Lutero. From the UP National Center for Transportation Studies, we have Engineer Eileen Mapala. That is all, Your Chair.
Thank you to our Secretariat. Before we begin, may I ask this study? This was commissioned by the DOTR and I believe the LTFRB, so we don't have the chairman of the LTFRB present here today for personal reasons, but is there somebody from the office that can give us a gist of what this study is about? What is the final recommendation of the study? Nabasa ko na to pero gusto ko lang marinig from you for the record.
Good morning, Madam Chair. On behalf of the Department of Transportation and Chairman at Attorney Guadis and ASEC Tugade, I am the MC Taxi Secretariat. So basically, the pilot study began in 2019, wherein it was under the old administration, and then sometime in 2020, when pandemic hit us, the study was suspended due to lockdowns for around 8 months. So there were activities that were not pushed through. So sometime in 2021 or 2020 again, it was resumed. So the pilot study resumed again in the in the authorized areas. Basically, there were 3 chosen areas, which were the Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Cagayan de Oro. But initially, the study began in Metro Manila and Metro Cebu only. But this year, one of the stakeholders, which is Angkas, is now operating in Cagayan de Oro. Because before Cagayan de Oro, the local government unit of Cagayan de Oro did not allow due to pandemic. Only this year that they allowed the MC Taxi to join. So right from the beginning, it started with angkas, and then the previous administration had a vetting process wherein they chose three additional participants, and those are, one is angkas, joyride, and move it. Up to this time po, we only have three stakeholders, which are angkas, joyride, and move it po. So last year, before the change of administration, when the chairmanship was still with the IACT, they submitted a report to Congress po, evaluating and recommending that the pilot study or the motorcycle units are safe, and it can be feasible and can be legalized as a mode of public transportation. Now there is already a transition of administration, and under Secretary Bautista, he reconstituted the MC Taxi, and now the chairmanship is with the LTFRB. So the current administration so far is collecting more data and continuing the pilot study po. So yun po yung status po natin.
Thank you for the very concise background on this. So the gist of it is you are recommending that this be allowed, that it is basically safe, right?
Madam Chair, yes po, your Madam Chair.
Okay. Right now, how many are allowed to participate? How many taxis? In Metro Manila, for example.
Basically po yung sa guidelines po kasi natin, ma'am, yung sa angkas, joyride, and move it, tig 15,000 po yung sa Metro Manila na cap po. Although, inallocate nila among themselves yung 15,000, which is 45,000 po. Pero mayroong portion si angkas na nasa around 20,000 plus, meron po si move it
Basta
na
hindi lalagpas sa 45,000.
Opo.
So sa ngayon,
Manila po.
hanggang 45,000 pa lang tayo.
Yes, ma'am. Opo.
Okay. Now, di ba, yan naman, like angkas, for example, can have more than 45,000 riders as long as they're not running at the same time. Ganun ba yon? Di ba, may oras yan? Parang at any one point in time, hindi pwedeng more than 45,000. Pero pwede namang mas marami ang members ninyo than 45,000, right? Basta hindi lang sila sabay-sabay.
Ma'am, yung as a portion po ng operations po kasi nila, si angkas po, parang yung ginagawa po nila, pwede po sila magkasabay-sabay, depende po yun sa mga riders po. Kasi po, app po yung ginagamit, ma'am. So, nagkakaroon lang po sila ng, kunwari, 8 hours muna yung first rider, second rider naman po yung susunod naman pong mag-ooperate po sa Metro Manila po.
May we ask Mr. Royeca, what do you think about, paki-explain nga sa amin, 45,000 ang cap. Siguro yung share ng angkas mas malaki kasi mas malaki ang participation sa inyo, sa 20,000. But you can have more than 20,000 riders, right? As long as...
So ma'am, sorry I'm speaking this way because I'm just recovering from a surgery.
Surgery?
Yeah, it's okay. So ma'am, tuloy-tuloy po yung parang training pool kasi nawawala rin po yung bikers. Pero I think there is a gray area in terms of what you're saying right now. Typically as it stands today, the cap is basically on, as I believe it, on all bikers that are registered. Pero nawawala rin po kasi yung biker because some are banned, some move on. Especially during the pandemic, many went to the provinces. However, with reference to what you said, which is correct, the motorcycle ride-hailing system is not like a taxi. Yung taxi po, pag naglagay po tayo ng quota, yung taxi po niyan, nandiyan po yan sa daan 24/7. In fact, 3 po yung driver niyan po ulit-ulit. Yung ride-hailing po, kung meron kang 10,000 ride-hailing, usually at any given hour, mga 1,000, 2,000 lang na sa daan. Kasi part-time po, gig economy po yung sistema ng motorcycle taxi, which is why it's only a fraction actually that's online at any given hour at any given time, even during peak hours po.
That's interesting. Senator Nancy's recognized.
Madam Chair, siguro at the peak hour, ilang motorsiklo yung nakalabas?
Maybe as much as 30%.
30% of the 45,000.
Probably. That is a good estimate. Yeah, it's not a lot. It's not what you think. Even during the peak, kasi marami dyan, yung tinatawag naming bakbakero, which means talagang nakatrabaho sila ng 10 hours, 8 hours na tuloy-tuloy. On the peaks lang kasi may mga breaks yan in between. Usually it's just morning and afternoon. But a lot of bikers also don't want to go out during peak. Kasi maraming tao eh. Diba? Maraming kompetensya. And many of the bikers are part-time, which means they just get somebody going to the office and then going home.
Ang sinasabay lang.
Pinasabay lang nila. So, papunta ng decision na. So, majority of the fleet are part-timers. There's only a few that are really full-time bikers, which is really the concept of ride-hailing. That's why it works so well.
So with that, leading to this next question of mine, would you recommend that we increase the cap? Diba ngayon 45,000? Sabi mo 30% lang pagka rush hour. What do you think, LTFRB? Are you inclined to do that? To raise it?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Now, I think this is a topic I discussed with, by the way, before this committee hearing, nagkaroon po ng presentations, all the participants. And this was one of the observations by the technical working group that while we allocated a total number of 45,000 here in Metro Manila, we learned that ganun po, around 30% lang po yung tumatakbo. Now, as far as the study is concerned, 30%, we set the cap po, 45,000. Yan po ang naging parang basis natin for the study. Now, kung as reported po by Mr. George, 30% lang po ang tumatakbo. This was an observation po that maybe we cannot get kasi we are assuming po that tumatakbo po ng lahat 100% yan so that we can get a good sample size. So for at least my opinion, Madam Chair, 30% po out of 45,000 is only roughly 12,000. So I will consult with the other members of I will inform our chair po and consult the other members, but whether or not the 12,000 is sufficient to gather data po as regards the safety and security of motorcycle taxi.
I know that we're also worried about congestion, but there's really a lack of mode of transportation for our countrymen. The important thing is really the safety factor. And I know that Angkas, at least I'm made aware all the time, that they really train their drivers to uphold utmost safety. Now, syempre, pag sinabi mong fatal accidents, talagang lugi talaga pag 2 wheels or 3 wheels kasi wala naman compartment to protect them. So, there's no argument there. You're really more vulnerable. But the reality is people still take that mode of transportation because of the lack of other choices that we have with our very narrow and very limited roads. So, and in other countries, this have been legalized. In Thailand, for example. In other countries, of course not. But here in the Philippines, ibang klase din yung density kasi dito eh. So, now, I know that Mr. Royeca has told the President that more jobs will be created. Ngayon, okay lang yun na mag-expand kayo na mag-expand. Basta the quality of training is not compromised. Then mag-accept kayo, pero dapat talagang train. So, ganun din LTFRB. Look for a certification and a standard that these hailing apps are requiring their drivers to have. And at some point, makikita naman natin kung balasubas yung nagda-drive, di ba? Pwede naman talaga i-report. Pero so far, okay naman yung mga ano. My concern also, the Philippine Competition Commission said na, I'm not sure what your opinion is. Kasi Grab is trying to come in also with this ride-sharing app. We know naman Grab is already dominating the market in other areas. So, if they do come in, or have they already been admitted to this program? I'd like to ask.
Madam Chair, they filed an application, but they are not yet formally included as one of the participants in the pilot study, Madam Chair.
Didn't they buy into Move It? Or Joyride? Di ko na alam. Ano bang...
Actually, ma'am, that topic was also discussed with the House of Representatives. Naging question po kasi kung si Grab is owned niya na si Move It. Ang naging position po kasi ng technical working group at that time is that yung authority kasi para malaman yung ownership, kung ano po yung personality, would not be from the MC Taxi po. Gusto po namin siya i-refer sa SEC po or doon po sa Philippine Competition Commission. So on our end po, ang napagdiskusyonan po ng MC Taxi nung mga ibang meetings po ay number one, dapat si Grab, if ever man na talagang legal siya na kinuha na niya si Move It po, nakaka-comply pa rin po sila sa guidelines po na inisyo ni MC Taxi Technical Working Group, such as yung may facility po ba, yung mga specs po ng mga motorsiklo, yun po yung sa side po at concern po ni MC Taxi po.
Okay. So the Philippine Competition Commission, what is your position on Grab joining in the pilot study or actually being a part of the MC Taxi?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair. Thank you very much. When that was referred to us, given that the use of motorcycle as public utility vehicles not yet legally in place, then we didn't comment on that. But in terms of joining or in terms of market situation, more players would be better for the consumers, Madam Chair. And in terms of the concern on the cap on the number of drivers and motorcycles, if we are going to apply competition principles, no cap would be better, given that it would benefit the consumers and let the market dictates on the extent of the number of vehicles, motorcycle units, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Actually, that's an interesting thought. No cap is better. In other countries, in your study, obviously you have to compare to other countries. Like for example, Thailand, may cap ba? Hindi na. Huh?
Madam Chair, hindi pa po namin explore yung sa portion po nung sa Thailand po, ma'am.
Maybe we can ask one of the players. Are you aware? Mr. Lim, you flew all the way from Singapore. Welcome to the Philippines. I hope your experience has been good so far. Please explain to us. In Singapore, this is not allowed, right? There's no...
Singapore is not allowed. The countries that are allowed in the region that we operate would be Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam.
So is there a cap in those countries?
No. In terms of slots, there's no caps for motorcycle number of motorcycles in the countries that we operate in. So, for example, in Indonesia, estimates about 4 million motorcycle taxis in the country.
Okay. Well, let us acknowledge here the one that really invested a lot from the very beginning. George Royeca, 2016 pa lang. Ikaw na yung nag-umpisa nito. 'Di ba? Ikaw lahat eh. Tapos ikaw ang dumaan sa lahat ng butas ng karayom para ito maunawaan ng ating gobyerno.
Madam
So,
Chair, tumanda na nga siya eh. Kaka-attend ng hearing natin.
Barong na po.
hindi naman mukhang tumanda eh. Yun ang importante, hindi mukhang tumanda. 'Di ba ang gusto lang what we want when investing in any country. Number one is ease of doing business. Number two, predictability and transparency. 'Di ba? And then number three is I guess that there's a rule of law, 'di ba? Yun naman talaga that is what we are trying to encourage here. So hindi pwedeng pabago-bago ng polisiya, 'di ba? So if we see that something's not working to the detriment of our countrymen, then by all means, we need to make adjustments. But right now, I think that it's my position also. Basta na train, you train your drivers properly, and then you reprimand them if they break the law. We should allow more players to come in.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Question lang. Kasama ba dun sa angkas? Kasi ang dami ngayon dyan, lalo na pagpunta ka dyan sa Mall of Asia. Yung parang hindi mo alam kung tricycle siya or or motorcycle siya. Na tumatanggap din ng pasahero. Is that part of your, ano bang classification nung mga ganong for rent na vehicle na mukha siyang tricycle pero mukha rin siyang motorcycle?
Madam, yung sa side po na yon, hindi po sila authorized po. Malamang po ito po ay habal-habal po. Kung hindi po sila authorized at wala pong batas, maano po sila ng kolorum po, ma'am.
But, I guess pare-pareho naman tayo. Nakikita natin yan, Madam Chair, tuwing pumupunta tayo dito sa Senate. Ito yung parang electric. So anong classification natin dun sa mga ganong vehicle? At ito din ba ay eventually isasama natin as part of the motorcycle taxis?
Sa motorcycle taxis, 2 wheels lang ba talaga? Okay. So,
Pero
kung
kasi
tatlo na,
may ganun na 2 wheels din, di ba? May 2, may 3.
so yung 3 ba sasama ni George? Gusto mo?
Ma'am, that is a possibility. Yung 3 wheels po, actually the other operators are doing that in the provinces. May
Okay.
app po yung tricycle.
Kaso sa probinsya may ganon. But basically dito sa Metro Manila. Kasi yung, Madam Chair, ang fear ko lang, kasi minsan I think yung mga nagdadrive nung ganong mga motorsiklo, yung parang hindi naman talaga nag-aral.
Yun na nga.
At parang nakakatakot kasi sila yung biglang susulpot na lang from nowhere. At,
Biktima ka na.
hindi pa naman, Madam Chair. Pero,
If I may, Madam Chair. Siguro yung, if I may, Madam Chair, I think yung sinasabi ni Sen. Nancy, yung mga electric bikes na 3-wheelers, na minsan mga nanay nagda-ride, wala silang I think, Madam Chair, we have to have another hearing with that because yun yung mga hindi talaga walang training, no? And you can just buy it kahit walang lisensya and it's not registered. Yun yung mga e-bikes na China, I think.
Okay.
Nakikita ko rin po yan.
siguro, Madam Chair, we should also define kung isasama ba natin sila dun sa motorcycle taxi. Yung mga ganitong types of vehicle.
Alam mo kasi, dito sa recommendation pag-aaral ng LTFRB will be in charge in metropolitan areas, but in the provinces, it's really LGUs. But in the interest of having something concrete that they can hold on to, for now, parang 2 wheels muna yung naano natin. Eventually, we can probably amend it. But so that they have a law that they can stand on, we will have to go with this study that they already have, which is more than 4 years old. So, yun na muna. Pero tama ka, eventually, pwede naman kasi sa IRR na magkaroon ng area na for expansion. But for now, ito yon. Now, before we hear from all the others, the transportation commuters advocates, I'd like to hear from the 3 and also from Grab. Ano yung training method ninyo? How many hours? Anong qualifications ninyo para sa drivers? So let's begin with the very proactive. I'm sorry, I have to give credit talaga to George because he was the one that really braved this, the environment of not being ready for something like this and educated a lot of us. So George, why don't you have the floor? If you want, I don't know.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ako po, Senator JV, Senator Nancy, and Senator Grace. Malayo na po yung tema ng ating mga hearings from years ago. So I'm very, very thankful. I'm on cloud 9 right now na hopefully TOEICs manapit na natin mapapasa po itong batas and also the commuter groups, Ma'am Grace. With regards to the training, initially po, we used to train for multiple days in the beginning. But what we realized is marami sa amin kasi we used to fill 90% of all applicants. Kasi talagang hirap talaga sila magmotor. Kasi ang kinasanayan po talaga nila tricycle na hindi naman nahuhulog, pero pag tinanggal mo yung sidecar, iniisip nila, pwede na yun, na sanay na sila magmotor. So what we've done over the years is that we've fine-tuned our training module. We do a skills assessment first. The skills assessment determines whether this biker is advanced or not. And from the advanced level biker, we have a day of training. The training is not meant for you to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Kasi creme de la creme din po yung kinukuha namin ng motorcycle taxi. Kailangan sobra mong galing kasi may pasahero eh. So hindi po kami nagtuturo ng paano ka mag-ride ng motorcycle. Tinuturuan namin yung safety mindset, road rules, braking distance, and then we have practical exams and training on road conditions. So meron po kaming mga obstacles dun sa course. If you would, pag tinungkod mo yung paa nyo twice, you fail automatically. But it's a free training, which means you can go back and retrain. So we only train advanced riders, which is why we're able to bring it down from 3 days to 2 days. That being said, we're the ones that developed the curriculum of TESDA for basic motorcycle training. That is a 5-day course from learning from zero up to becoming a beginner motorcycle. So yun po yung naging training system. We're also the ones that certify the TESDA trainers to train the motorcycle people as part of the TESDA program. So yun po yung wino-work out namin with LTFRB and with LTO right now, na if we can institutionalize this training. Kasi right now, the training system that we've done, the courses that they've done, is also being used by the other operators. That's open naman po. That's basically the standard now. So they have also refinements on that, but essentially it's the same practical course that we've done. So, ma'am, I think if I may, if we can just have 1 minute. So for the last 4 years, we've been working on the safety aspect. But we all know that there are other aspects to motorcycle taxis, and it's not necessarily just the app. You know, there are cooperatives also. There's a call center that you can do, any juridical entity, especially when you go down to the provincial. The idea kasi is if they're recognized by the government, whether they're 10 bikers or 1,000 bikers, they're able to afford themselves benefits like insurance, right? Government benefits, humane loans. Right now, loans are very, very high interest because they're not part of the formal economy. So I think having that juridical entity, not necessarily app-based, can be beneficial across the country. Now, the industry, although we've been operating for 6 years, 4 years regulated, is still very nascent. So we're to really achieve the maximum potential of 1 million jobs or how many 100,000 jobs that we could push. We were hoping that we
Congressman Romualdo, talagang nag-ano lang, bumati lang sa atin lahat.
Hi, Kong.
Ano na meron na to? Teka muna. We might have to break for
Sure.
a few minutes, ha? Oo, yung 1 minute ni George tapos the others. I want to hear also from Grab, but eventually might take a break kasi we have to go to the Commission on Appointments. Yeah.
Ma'am, so mabilis lang po ito, ma'am. So what I was just asking for, since it's a nascent industry, we have to handhold the industry, which includes other aspects like taxation, how do we treat employment, and so much other aspects around this. No,
That's a good point. So you have benefits, you give them health insurance.
we have fringe benefits for our top bikers. We facilitate their ability to get pag-ibig and SSS. We also facilitate for NBI clearances for new applicants. We have them in our office actually. It's a
About health insurance, accident insurance, mga
Sir, yes ma'am, we have accident insurance for all. 100%.
Oh,
Um,
I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Raffy Tulfo, si Idol. Ayan,
Thank you,
marami,
Madam Chair.
marami yan, maraming matata. Ikaw na po yung maiiwan dito kasi may pupuntahan kami.
Agaw ba?
So, I designate you Vice Chairman for this hearing.
So,
But before that,
yeah, so ma'am, I was hoping lang sana that we take care in developing the industry, not just now, but also in its development. Like the PCC would be a good agency to really oversee so that we can not just develop the different aspects, not just on safety, because it just goes beyond safety, especially when you're running it already. You're talking about communities, uplifting communities, people's lives, and also fostering healthy competition. Because at the end of the day, it is a app. There is a network effect. There is a competition on technology, and Philippines isn't necessarily the highest or the best in terms of technological development.
pero number one in screen time.
But number one in screen time, yes. We have the best consumers, but we also want to be creators, not just consumers. So that is just my prayer to the committee that we also take into consideration how do we monitor effectively the progress of the industry as it grows, because this is where the real test is. It's not getting it approved. It's when it's on the ground across 20 players and there are global and local players, how do we now foster that the industry will be very healthy all the way to the end? At the end of the day, what we don't want is after everything that's said and done, we have one player in the entire country. Yeah.
I agree. You know what? Thank you for having that foresight. It's just not now. This is a developmental initiative.
Including me po, Mama. I'm talking about myself also. Somebody needs to watch us also.
Yeah, no, we're watching you also. You set the tone in a lot of ways. Senator Tulfo, what we're discussing here, there are three major players in the pilot study, as you know, Move It, Joyride, and of course, Angkas. So tinatanong po namin sa kanila, ano ang inyong training for your drivers? Ano ang kasanayan na ginagawa nila para ma-ensure ang kaligtasan ng kanilang mga pasahero. So nag-present na si George ng Angkas. I'd like to hear naman from Joyride and then Move It and then later on Grab. The Grab is very ambitious. They're saying that they're going to create 500,000 new jobs in different fields. So maikli lang, please give that update. And then I will leave na the floor to Senator Tulfo to ask his questions and we can come back. We just have a commission on appointments. Let's go with Joyride now.
Magandang umaga po, Chairperson. Magandang umaga po, Senator and the members of the committee and mga kasama namin. Yun pong sinasabi ni George, the training program. Ano po yun? Standardized po yun eh. All our trainers are actually accredited internationally and here locally. Sinusunod din po namin yung programa, the program that was put together by the TESDA. So it's really a standardized training. Pag sinabing training sa skills. What we want to do though is to go through the developmental process of a biker. In other words, bukod po dun sa isang araw na nandoon sila at tinetest po namin at tinignan namin ang skills nila, patuloy po yung training program habang nagsiservisyo po sila. Yung po ginagawa ngayon namin sa Joyride, meron po kami mga marshals na umiikot sa Metro Manila, 24/7 po yan. Mga grupo po na hindi alam ng mga bikers, inoobserbahan sila. At tinitingnan din yung pamamaraan ng pagsaservice. Kasi po yung service hindi lang naman po yung pagsakay ng motor eh. Kundi pati po yung pag-aalaga ng mananakay. As a matter of fact, what we would like to look at, and we always believe, life is a journey. And what we want to do is in everybody's journey, we want that journey to be a joyride. In other words, the experience the experience po. And when we talk about joy, it's the experience of safety, It's the experience because naniniwala po ang motorcycle taxi, hindi lang naman po nagpapadala o nagdadala sa isang lugar, kundi sa isang kahihinatnan. Our customers would go to schools, to work, and so what we want to make sure is when they go to school and they go to work, they're not frazzled, hindi masama ang pakiramdam, hindi kinakabahan, relax lang sila para magawa nila yung dapat nilang gawin. Kaya po yung mga bikers po namin, ang ginagawa namin, talagang sineshepherd po namin practically sa kalye. So bukod po doon sa pagbabantay, doon sa mga negative, mga tinitingnan. Kasi po pag nakakita po kami ng ganun, automatically pinapatawag po namin yun. Kasi po meron po kaming grupo na wala rin gagawin kundi isineshepherd sila. Ito yung nakita, ito yung na-report, ito yung sitwasyon. And explain.
Can I ask, kunyari nagkaroon ng aksidente, yun bang pasahero ninyo ay merong parang insurance dun sa kumpanya niyo?
Meron po.
Okay.
Meron pong insurance. We are very happy to stay. Naisip nga po namin.
Sir, wag nang pasikot-sikot. Pakisagot lang, sorry.
Opo, meron po.
Yeah,
Huwag mo lang i-advertise yung company mo.
Opo, pasensya
Wag mo
na
na
po.
kami pinagbubula rito. Okay.
Meron po.
TPL o comprehensive?
Yun po dung sa comprehensive po doon sa aksidente. So ano ba ma-aksidente po yung customer, meron po silang insurance.
Okay, so in short, comprehensive.
Opo.
Lahat po kayo. Comprehensive ang coverage. Okay. Kasi papaikutin mo lang, baka mamaya mag-advertise mo naman yung kumpanya.
Oo.
Go ahead.
Hindi, alam mo
Madam
naman, pag
Chair.
nag-joyride, minsan, di ba, delikado rin. Hindi. No, okay. So, continue with just make it brief, all of you. And Senator Tulfo will set the tone now kasi may CA lang ako. Kung okay lang. You can ask the questions. You can ask them to continue or you can start asking your questions, sir.
Oh, okay. Sa datos na meron ngayon, na I'm sure alam niyo ito, ilan na ho ba ang nadisgrasya? Umpisa natin sa angkas na mga riders ninyo. At ano po yung nangyari doon sa mga disgrasya? At ano po yung ginawa nyo doon sa rider? Sir.
Good morning po, Senator Tulfo. I apologize for the way I speak. I'm recovering from surgery.
That's all right. I can understand that. Go ahead, sir.
So we've been operating for 6 years. There have been accidents.
Okay.
We've maintained, and this is audited by KPMG, which is third party, a 0.003% accident rate. So that comes out to
What year did you start?
2000 this January 2017 po.
2017.
Yeah, so
Okay. Noong year 2017, ilan po ang nadisgrasyang rider ninyo na may kasamang pasahero?
I don't have the exact amount, but roughly siguro less than mga 300 below at that time.
300 below.
Thereabouts, sir. But
Okay.
yeah.
2018, ilan po?
So ngayon po, every year po yan.
Mataas ba? Kasi I'm leading to... my
Tumataas
question
po
is
kasi
leading
yung tumataas po yung bookings.
Right.
So syempre we've maintained the percentage pero tumataas po yung absolute number. So right now it's below 1,000 a year, parang
No,
ganun po.
ang gusto ko lang kasi malaman, and then
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask all the other companies. Bumababa ba o umaakyat yung naaksidente ng mga riders ninyo na may kasamang pasahero?
So with reference to the number of bookings, gumaganda po yung accident rate namin. Bumababa yung accident rate.
Bumababa.
But yung absolute number po, kasi dumadami po yung bookings, tumataas. Pero yung accident rate pa ng accident bumababa.
Kahit na dumadami yung booking, sir, kung nag-iingat kayo, pala constant yung reminder nyo.
Then mababa po yung rate, yung accident
sa
rate.
training. So bumababa yung
Yung accident rate.
yung numero ng
Yes, sir.
accident rate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't think so.
Oh.
Kasi sir, noong 2020, 3,307 motorcycle road crash incidents, ano po? And then 2021, 3,069, and then 2022 tumaas ng 7,500. Siguro ito total.
Total yan, sir.
Right.
Sir, yun po yung hindi po dumaan sa operator or sa training po namin, which is yun yung po piniplead namin na case. Pag dumaan po sa training, yung driver, at yung training po na ginagawa namin na safety training, nababasbasan po siya ng safety learnings or safety mindset. Gumaganda po yung pagtakbo niya ng motorsiklo.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Doon po sa sinasabi niyong comprehensive insurance, accident insurance ito,
Yes, sir.
magkano po yung coverage?
Sir, we have 200,000 for medical reimbursement and 500,000 to 1 million death and dismemberment.
Ano ibig sabihin ng medical reimbursement?
Ano po yun? Pag binigay, so hospital kasi, yung claims po kasi matagal eh. So, kunyari, ina-advance po namin or ina-advance nung biker, for example, nandun po siya sa hospital, after, yung pwede mo i-claim against yun, i-reimburse po yun ng insurance company.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about dun sa pasahero?
Kasama po yun, same.
So, ibig sabihin, gastos muna yung pasahero ng kanyang hospitalization and then i-reimburse nyo.
Iba-iba po. Most of the cases kami po talaga yung nagma-handle. Kami yung nag-advance in most cases.
Ayoko po in most cases, in all cases dapat.
In all cases dapat, but sometimes kasi yung pasahero mismo talagang nagkukusa na po eh.
No, there are so many instances na nakatanggap ako ng mga reklamo na yung pasahero ang nagpapaluwal muna dahil ang hirap kausap ng mga kumpanya tulad ninyo. Kaya sila nang napipilitan na magpaluwal ng pera.
Well,
So what I want is dapat kapag may na-aksidente na rider ninyo na may pasahero, agad-agad pupunta kayo sa hospital, agad-agad bayaran yung hospitalization, sagutin nyo everything. Huwag nyo na pong entayin na magpalabas ng pera yung na-aksidente nyong
tama po yan, Senator Tulfo. In fact, meron po kaming emergency fund that is 24/7 and we have partnerships with 50 hospitals. In fact, before, what we realized, Senator Tulfo, is kung motorsiklo po yung na-aksidente in some of the hospitals, humingi po sila ng deposit. Kaya po talaga nag-partner kami with the hospitals na pag motorsiklo po ang kaspo yung na-aksidente doon, dire-diretso po yung care ng doktor. So we really endeavor to make sure that we cover that po. No ifs, no buts.
Okay. Mr. Jesus Ferdinand Ortega, kayo po ang Chairperson of Office of Transportation Cooperatives. Ano po yung ginagawa ng inyo pong kooperatiba hinggil sa usaping ito?
Yeah, good morning, Senator. On the part po sa OTC, naghahanda po kami kasi when po magiging batas itong pag-aalaw sa mga motorcycle po na maging transport po, no, service ng ating bansa, on the part of OTC, ang gagawin po namin, based on that new law, pwede na po namin i-rekomenda sa OTC board na magkaroon po ng kooperatiba po yung mga riders natin, yung mga motorcycle riders in the time na magkakaroon po tayo ng batas.
Okay. Meron pong mga habal-habal kung tawagin. Of course, hindi kasama itong mga angkas, itong mga legit na to, Grab and all. Especially sa mga probinsya na nag-aangkas na nagpapasakay ng mga pasahero, 2, 3, kuminsan 4. Wala ba kayong ginagawang move against this? Sino ba dapat ang enforcement? Meron ba tayong taga-enforcement dito? Taga-LTO po kayo? MMDA. Kayo po ay LTO. Kasi ang MMDA sa Metro Manila, usually rampant itong sa mga probinsya. So, LTO, meron kayong ginagawang move against that na napakadelikado. At least sila, isang pasahero lang. Yung mga habal-habal, kung tawagin, 3, 4, tapos may mga karga pa. Meron sa harap, 1, meron pa ako nakita, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kasi meron pang konting bakal sa dulo, upang pa yun. And nangyayari yan palagi sa mga probinsya. Wala ba kayong ginagawang move against this? practices?
Senator Tulfo, yung sa portion po na yan, dahil po may enforcement power po sa LTO, sir, yung mga enforcer po namin nationwide, sir, dinadirect po yan ng aming Assistant Secretary na para pong mas lalo niyang i-strengthen yung paghuli po dun sa mga unauthorized po kagaya ng habal-habal po. So kapag ganyan po, meron pong mga ini-impose na penalty po, ang violation po nila for that ay colorum po kasi po hindi po yun allowed po.
And even while we speak, nangyayari po ito sa iba't ibang mga probinsya. Pagbaba mo ng mga airport, pagbaba mo ng pier sa barko, nandun na itong mga nag-offer ng habal-habal at bukod pa sabi ko, 3-4 na pasahero, may karga pa. So, dapat magbantay kayo sa mga pier, sa mga airport, sa mga palengke. I don't think you're doing it. Pwede kayo makipag-coordinate sa mga taga-traffic enforcement group ng iba't ibang LGU. Are you doing it?
Ang enforcers po namin, meron din po silang coordination with HPG and PNP po. Meron po silang mga dinedeputize po from HPG and PNP po. Pero kagaya po ng sabi niyo, Senator Tulfo, mas lalo po namin pagtitibayin po yung pag-enforce po ng...
Ano po ginagawa ng inyong flying squad? There's such a thing as flying squad, di ba? Ano, hanggang forma lang yung flying squad nyo? You guys are doing... I don't see flying... Wala ko nakikitang flying squad na gumagala-gala sa mga kalye natin, sa mga highway, or even sa mga probinsya. Hindi ko nakikita. May nakita ako, flying squad, sa mga checkpoint, and then may nakalagay dyan na lata, at yung mga dadaan, may hagis lang na tumutunog. Hindi, seryoso.
Yes po, Senator.
Oh.
Actually po, Senator Tulfo, ngayon po, yung sa LTO po kasi may mga operations po siya. Although isa pong kakulangan po namin sa ahensya is kulang po yung mga enforcers po namin and manpower po namin.
Kung kulang nga po yung inyong enforcers, ma'am, all you need to do is makipag-tie up kayo sa mga, binanggit mo na, traffic enforcement group ng iba't ibang LGU, HPG, PNP. Why didn't you do that? Kasi every single day, like I said, even while we speak, pumunta ka sa mga pier, pumunta ka sa mga airport, sa mga probinsya, nandoon nakatambay yung maraming motor at nag-offer ng habal-habal ride. At napakadelikado po yan. Marami na po na aksidente niyan. Just imagine, 4-5 isasakay dyan sa motor. So, di ba? So, ano pong ginagawa nyo?
Sige po, Senator, yung kagaya po ng observation niyo po sa ahensya namin, ipaparating ko po ito sa enforcers po namin na mas lalo po nilang ikutin po yung mga areas at saka kung saan po yung mga dapat magko-concentrate po sila po para po mas ma-enforce po yung...
Siguro, Angkas, Joyride, Grab, Maxim, Takeover, Tok-Tok, lahat kayo, ba't di nyo na lang kumbinsihin? Pumunta kayo sa mga probinsya, yung mga naghabal-habal para maging legit na sila, para they will gagawin nila yung tama, na hindi na sila magsakay ng, Madam Chair, yung kinikwento ko sa mga probinsya, nakita ka na noon, na motorsiklo sa harap ng driver, meron isa, yung driver pangalawa, tapos meron siyang 3 angkas, 5, habal-habal, yan ang totoong habal-habal. At every single day, maraming mga na-aksidente. Dahil dito, dahil sobrang dami ng pasahero. Kaya sabi ko sa kanila, siguro, ayoko naman mawala ng hanap buhay mga yon dahil nagbili sila ng motor para gawing hanap buhay. Sinasabi nga nila, kaysa naman magnakaw, nandun na tayo, pero regulate natin. So, dyan siguro kayo papasok. Siguro, i-recruit yung mga ito, tapos turuan nyo ng tamang pamamaraan ng paggagamit ng kanilang motorsiklo, bigyan silang lisensya. Why don't you do that? Diba?
Actually, Sen. Rafi, I'm glad you raised that point. Kausap ko lang si Congressman Romualdo ng Camiguin. Yun din ang concern niya. Masyadong unregulated yung mga ganon na wala namang proper training. Minsan nga, para yung mga may bahay, para magkaroon ng trabaho, yun ang ginagawa. Hindi naman sanay pa magmaneho. No, okay na tayo, mabigyan sila ng trabaho. Kaya nga, dito sa legalization itong motorcycles for hire, tignan natin eventually paano ba mare-regulate muna. Kasi pwede naman kayo, di ba, nagkaroon na tayo ng pilot study para dito sa two-wheelers. Baka naman magkaroon din kayo ng pilot study naman doon sa mga ganong klaseng mga habal-habal. And in the meantime, baka yung mga big players natin, pwedeng sumama dun sa pilot study na yon na kunin para magkaroon ng cooperative din yung mga
Yes.
grupo na yon, no?
Yes.
Pero yun nga, Sen. Rafi, gusto na natin kasi ma-legalize ito para may batas silang tinatayuan.
At protektado sila at kanilang mga pasahero.
Correct. Na protektado sila, tapos pag nagpalit ang administrasyon, hindi naman yung iba-iba na naman yung regulation. Pero pag sinama natin kasi yung three-wheelers, for example, or yung mga habal-habal, wala pang pag-aaral dun kasi. So, in the meantime, let's do a study there. But in the meantime, dito sa motorcycles for hire, itong batas natin dito, baka pwede na natin isulong. Sino ba dito ang kontra dito sa motorcycle taxis?
May kontratista. Sinong kontratista?
Walang kontra. Si Miss LV, wala. Okay. Miss LV, ano bang feelings mo dito? Kasi ikaw talaga yung ever since.
Madam Chair, I submitted our position paper, and we said that we are not contradicting it, but we would like to put in some of the guidelines so that it will be a very robust industry. So we have submitted our position paper on it.
Thank you, Miss LV. How about commute? Si Miss Toix.
Hello po. Good morning po. Thank you, ma'am. Ang commute po has been supporting yung regulation po ng motorcycle taxi. Our position has been since 2018 na sana ma-regulate yung motorcycle taxi industry. Ginagamit na po to ng mga commuters. And I think the main problem really is kulang na kulang yung masakyan ng mga tao. People are already using it, so magandang ma-regulate na ito so that we are better protected. And then I guess from hearing now sa sinasabi ng ating resource speaker, sila George, I think ang hope din namin ng commuters is there are good practices now na ginagawa yung motorcycle company. Sana po yung ating mga agencies like LTO, LTFRB are probably taking note. Maybe these are some practices that we can help institutionalize. Magandang ma-institutionalize po ito kung ano yung ginagawa nila to improve yung driving po ng ating mga motorcycle riders. That would be, that would benefit everybody else, no? Hindi lang yung motorcycle industry. So I think these are really good points po. Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Chair, meron ako
yes, Senator.
tatanong sa Grab. There was an issue of overcharging. In fact, you were ordered by the Philippine Competition Commission, PCC, na mag-refund amounting to 24.45 million. Yan po ba ay na-refund na?
Sir, Singaporean po siya. So, but I'm sure he was able to get the gist of what
Did you understand what I said? Because there was an issue about overcharging. Okay. And the Philippine Competition Commission has ordered Grab to refund your customers in the amount of 24.45 million pesos. My question is, did you do the refund already? Has it been done?
Thank you for the question. We were trying to get guidance from the PCC on exactly how do we refund in the proper way. So we're happy that there's now guidance being given and we can now proceed with the refund.
That you mean to say you were not given a guidance? All you received was a memo from the PCC asking you to refund your customers? That was it?
Yes, so we had different ways of trying to refund some of the customers. We could not find them anymore, or they haven't passed through the KYC.
You cannot find the customers anymore, but at least you should have initiated something by contacting your customers because they're in the applications.
Yes, so we've been constant engagement with the PCC to work with them towards how do we find the customers and get refunds. So we've tried, and now we have.
Madam Chair, who next time invite natin PCC? Kasi they were ordered PCC.
Nandito po sila.
PCC, okay, thank you. Well, he said they were just waiting for the guidance from PCC how they would initiate that refund, how that would be implemented.
Yeah, thank you, Senator.
So you just issued a memo to them asking them to refund their customers without giving any more details about the refund scheme?
Yeah, actually, we issued a decision, Madam Chair, sir, and for them to also we provided guidance actually. For example, they need to advertise that refund so that those who don't have wallet, because some of the beneficiaries don't have wallet, Madam Chair, and so if
E-wallets.
e-wallet. So if those that don't have wallets or will not report to Grab anymore, then the remaining balance will be remitted to the treasury, government treasury.
Okay, normally, like for example, if you have a class action suit against a company like Facebook, I think meron doon, Facebook will send a guideline either through Facebook itself or in other platforms. Maybe in your app, you can also send that, and then they can register there. And then if obviously if you reach the maximum point of the amount that was mandated for you to refund, then you're done. Otherwise, if you don't tell them how they can get their refund, they wouldn't know. I think you should be a little bit more pro about this. How much is it that you need to refund?
24.45. Follow-up question, Madam Chair.
Sir.
Okay, you heard what he said, right? That when they issued the order for your company, Grab, to refund your customers in the amount of 24.45, it was stipulated in that order how you would conduct the refund, and which is, to start with, is to do an advertising. Did you do that? Did you advertise?
Yes, so
To let your customers know that you guys were ordered by PCC to refund?
yes, so we have refunded as much as we can.
Oh, you have already refunded?
Up to about so 73% has been refunded of
Oh, 33%.
73%.
Oh, 73%.
73%.
I thought you haven't refunded
Oh.
in anything at all.
Well, we have refunded since the imposition. So we managed to refund 73%. There was another 27% in which we were finding difficulty to refund.
How much is the average refund money, sir?
I have to check. I don't have the exact number right now.
Can you
It's
tell?
it's very small amount because it's
Very small.
yeah.
Okay, what was the reason for the overcharging?
I will need to check that for you. I need to check that. I don't have that information right now, but I can get back to you.
PCC, Grab lang ba ang nagkaroon ng ganitong problema na nag-overcharge?
Yes,
How about yung other?
yes, sir.
Riding
Because
company.
that is related to the Uber Grab acquisition.
I'm sorry?
Grab Uber acquisition, that's related to
As
the
acquisition.
four-wheel drive vehicle service. So the original penalty the original amount that need to be refunded, sir, is 24, and Grab already refunded around 18 million plus.
No, ang tanong ko, sir, Grab lang ba ang nautusang
Yes.
mag-refund?
Yes.
How about the other taxi motorcycle?
Sila lang, sir, kasi sila lang yung may ride-hailing app.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Magaling talaga magtanong ang ating kasama dito. Yun yung concern din ng mga tao, no. But going back to the training for the safety of our passengers. Grab, Mr. Lim, are you familiar? What training procedures do you have? Do you have the same as Joyride and Angkas?
We're very similar onboarding trainings for our drivers. We have driver training centers. In fact, we also have partnerships with our investor Honda to also do in-house training. What we also do in other markets where we operate two wheels is that we constantly monitor the behaviors of our drivers. So if they're
How do you do that? How do you monitor their behavior?
using the app. So for example, if they make a sharp turn or they go above the speed limit,
You have that in an app? It will show?
we use that to track drivers. So if we find drivers are driving dangerously, we will then trigger alert to have them.
No, that's why. So they have to have their phones on while they're riding.
Oh, no,
How do you determine the sharp turn? Is that
so-
instant or just?
yes, so because they are using their phone, and then when they're driving, we track their geolocation. We are able to detect that.
So you have a command center?
Yes, we
Okay.
we track.
Angkas, do you have that? You also have that app that will determine erratic behaviors?
We don't have it to that level, but we do have a command center and we have marshals all over.
All right, go ahead, Grab.
Yes, so beyond training, we also use again technology to track drivers' safety performance and trigger more trainings. We also do things like having facial recognition so that whoever say he's the driver is indeed the driver who is doing the driving, and make sure that then there's another layer of safety, so that there are things in which we can offer from our experience in operating other countries and bring that and also share it with everyone here.
That's quite interesting. I didn't know there was that capability to be able to determine the track record of a driver for safety.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
pwede mo kasing, meron ba taga LTFRB dito? LTFRB? Okay, according to an article from the Inquirer, itong InDrive and Maxim that are still in operation ay colorum daw. Maxim, dito ka. LTFRB, anong final findings nyo? Kasi ayon sa article di sa Inquirer, colorum daw ito. Itong si Maxim.
Kasi parang hindi sila kasama sa pilot study, di ba?
Sa InDrive. So why did we invite them kung sila ay colorum? Dapat yung mga colorum hindi kasali dito.
Hindi, para malaman natin kung colorum sila talaga.
Okay. So, Maxim, ikaw nang tatanungin ko, colorum ka ba o hindi? Yes or no lang? Wala nang pasikot-sikot.
Good morning, Your Honor. No.
At ba't mo nasabi na hindi ka colorum? Sabi sa isang article, colorum ka dahil Russian daw yung, ano mo? Oh, Russian app. Russian-owned transport network vehicle.
Your Honor, because we don't operate as a ride-hailing, we operate as a delivery service po.
As a what?
We don't operate as a ride-hailing, we operate as a delivery service po.
As delivery.
Service, yes.
LTFRB?
Pero nandito ka kasi...
Yes, but good morning, Madam Chair. Yes, because we have also a pending application to be part of the study.
Yun yung point doon. Sir, meron silang pending application to be included in the pilot study. Pero
okay.
may maximum na 45,000 lang sa Metro Manila. So, ang tanong, LTFRB, what's the status of their application? Kasi ngayon, delivery lang sila. Wala namang maximum or minimum dyan. Ano na yung nila, application?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to confirm that Maxim submitted an application po to the MC Taxi Technical Working Group to be included in the pilot study. Now, considering that under the guidelines, 3 lang po ang allowed as of the moment. So, under deliberation pa po whether to accept additional participants. So, wala pa po tayong, since wala pa pong definite answer as to whether to add additional players, hindi pa po na-actionan yung application.
Siguro, sir, baka kaya sila nasasabing colorum, delivery lang sila, pero baka nag-moonlight. Katulad ng iba, di ba, pag desperate na, delivery, pero actually nagsasakay ng pasahero.
LTFRB. Okay, let's say delivery lang sila. Pending pa rin yung application nila for delivery company.
Sir, wala po sa jurisdiction ng LTFRB yung
Kanino
delivery.
Delivery. Okay. Okay, so yung para sila yung magsakay ng pasahero, yung application nila ay pending. So dapat hindi mo na sila magsakay hanggat hindi maaprubahan yung kanilang application.
Yes po.
Okay.
With due respect, Mr. Chair, can I ask our legal department to answer or to provide some information about that?
Sige po, go ahead po.
Good afternoon, everyone. In behalf of Taxi Philippines, we would like to also ask some questions regarding the definition
I
of...
think maybe Mr. Morales give way so that he can speak better. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. So, good morning. We would like to ask some clarification because in the definition of the proposed Senate bills, the motorcycle for hire includes delivery, motorcycle for hire for both delivery and transport passengers. So, And then under the other provisions, it indicates that it is regulated by LTFRB. So that aspect we want to clarify because currently, right now, delivery is being, if you are registered with SEC, you're registered with the LGU, you can technically conduct delivery activities. But if under the Senate bills, it would partake that we have to register also with LTFRB the motorcycle for hire before they can operate. So
Actually, in our bill, we didn't really differentiate between passengers and delivery. So that's a good point. We will clarify that. But in the meantime, delivery is under DTI, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so thank you for that clarification.
Madam Chair, follow-up lang question. So, meron na ho kayong permit?
yes, sir.
From DTI and SEC?
Yes, under, as you can see from our name, we are called Taxi Philippines Inc. So we are duly registered with the SEC, duly compliant with all the submissions and everything. We are also registered with the BIR, and we are also in all our different branches in the entire Philippines. We also have business permits. So that's why actually with the report that was released, the drivers were shocked because we all had branches in their.
Pero prior sa kayo po'y ma-plug nitong inquirer na nag-ooperate kayo bilang taxi, motorcycle taxi, kayo po ay nag-ooperate talaga, nagsasakay ng mga pasahero.
In our defense, before I think it was not clear. The basis for LTFRB was, I think.
Hindi, pakisagot lang, sir. So, dati, kayo po ay nagsasakay ng mga pasahero. Hindi lang po ay delivery until sa such time na na-plug ho kayo nitong dyaryo.
That was around 2018, sir. I think that was the article that we were apprehended. The company was called out by LTFRB and were subject to fees. So that's why after then, we did not conduct PNC operations.
So,
kasi sir, nung 2018, wala pa kasing pilot study noon eh. 2019 nag-umpisa. So, talagang wild west noon. From 2016 to 2018.
So, Madam Chair, so nung may nangyaring violation sila, so anong sanctions given to them by the government? Wala pa tayong batas at that time, LTFRB?
Wala pa pong pilot study nung 2018. So,
okay.
parang slap on the wrist lang muna.
Alright.
Opo. Pero ngayon, sinisiguro nyo na yung mga sinasakay nyo, hindi buhay, ha? Hindi,
Yes, sir.
unless, I don't know kung...
We are promoting that we are delivery activities only.
Oh, kasi actually, nangyari yan, ha? Pag peak hours, di ba? Yung ibang delivery service, nagsasakay na ng tao, Senator Tulfo. Nalaman natin, I think Lala Move was also cited for that. You're raising your hand, NCR riders. Sino? Ikaw?
Salamat po, Madam Chair. For clarification lang po, sa statement po kasi ng Maxim na hindi na daw po sila nagsasakay ng passenger. Kung i-check po natin ngayon yung app nila, meron pa rin pong passenger. In fact, majority ng operations nila is nasa provincial. Recently lang po sila pumasok sa Metro Manila. Pero hindi po totoo na wala po silang passenger na services sa app. So meron pong difference dun sa pinopromote nila on public in comparison dun sa actual operation nila.
Nako, attorney, nagsisinungaling ka sa hearing na to?
Hindi.
Pwede kang makontempt, ha?
No, Mr. I have stated that currently we are only promoting delivery.
Bakit may app na gano'n? Nakalagay ba for passengers? So comment on that. What is that?
Our stand on that is that that application itself is already international, so it's what is adapted here. So we cannot we are trying to control that.
Mag-book ka nga.
We are trying to control that.
TFRB, this parang doesn't begin with a nice relationship, di ba? Parang it's starting out on a sour note if they're already violating. O anong sabi? How many minutes?
Details pa lang po nung rider, pati yung plate number yung nag-appear sa app.
Pero tanungin mo yung driver, pwede ba tao sumakay dyan?
Okay po. Sige po.
Sige, thank you, Mr. John. No, diba? Kasi we just have to verify what you're telling us is true. I'm glad this issue was raised. Senator Tulfo, anong comment mo dyan?
Maganda, go ahead. Sabi mo na kung pwede yung tao.
Opo. Sige po. For clarification lang din po, may mga members din po kasi kami sa Rider Centro na Maxim Riders. Ang concern po kasi namin dyan, isa po sila sa mga player na pumapasok sa gig platform economy na ina-apply yung penetrating price. So, isang concern din po ito since ang focus po natin is sa public service. Importante rin po na habang pinapangalagaan natin yung serbisyo sa publiko, natitignan din po natin yung mismong nagseserbisyo, which is mga riders po. Sa ground po kasi, ang ginagawa po nila, nagbibigay po sila ng sobrang babang presyo para ma-penetrate yung market. In effect po nito,
unfair competition.
Unfair competition po. Then yung mga rider naman po, tinatanggap to kahit napakababa due to unemployment na rin. Saka sa hindi sila nakapasok sa ibang apps. Kaya nagkakaroon po ng abuse sa ganong sitwasyon.
Are you talking about delivery or yung...
Both po, as far as Maxim is concerned. Dahil meron,
Ibig sabihin nagsasakay silang pasahero?
Meron po.
Maxim, nagsasakay pala kayo.
Actually, the position is, as we have understood, the passenger, the drivers are independent contractors. So as I've pointed also by Senator, there are some times that they will take abuse or like what was seen. They are
No, but the
currently
app is
abusing.
provided by you. And the app is very deceiving. We don't know for sure if they'll take passengers or delivery. It doesn't state in the app, if I'm not mistaken.
So currently, we have also, as we have represented, we are also before LTFRB. LTFRB is also LTFRB in a technical working group. We are currently applying. So as of now, we want to make it possible that the app can be a viable source.
Pero, sandali, Madam Chair, so how can you guarantee to us na hindi nga nagsasakay ng pasahero ang inyo pong mga rider? Ito na mismo, sabi ni Mr. John J. Chan, nagsasakay daw kayo and unfair competition pa, mas mura ang ino-offer nyo para makapenetrate kayo sa market, which is really illegal. So, LTFRB, hindi ba kayo nagbabantay?
Yes, sir. Now, as regards motorcycle taxi operation, wala po ang jurisdiction ng LTFRB with respect to complaints and violations po. We course it through the MC Taxi Technical Working.
So maybe, Madam Chair, we have to go to DTI or SEC kasi they're in violation of their business practice, which is pang-delivery sila at pero nagsasakay sila ng pasahero.
Atagat, si Mr. Chan, ano nang
And
progress?
dito po ayun. Tinanong po natin kung pwede po pasahero. Yes po.
See?
Okay, DTI. Your comment here.
DTI.
Grabe,
Madam
you're
Chair.
caught red-handed here.
Madam
DTI.
Chair, may ano lang. Madam Chair, meron nag-post, I was told that Maxim is the recommended app for motorbike rides, delivery services, etc. In Cebu, it is cheaper than Angkas. You'll have to try. So talagang, they have to answer for that.
Oh, you're undercutting the market kasi obviously you're running illegally. DTI, do we have anybody from DTI?
DTI.
Online?
Gusto magsalita ni Mr. Chan?
Hindi ka kumikibo, Engineer Dainla.
Morning, Madam Chair. I also have experience with the app. Meron po siyang access for the riding po, no? And with regards po sa data, we will verify with our other colleagues in the business name registration if they have an existing business name with the...
So in the meantime, what penalties can we give them? LTFRB. Nakita na ninyo yan. Tapos DTI. Pero wala kayong wala kayong jurisdiction over them. So it's DTI.
So,
do you have a jurisdiction?
If caught red-handed siguro, Madam Chair. If caught red-handed, then they'll be under the jurisdiction of LTFRB at pwede silang ma-penalize kasi pending their application. But for now, it should be under
Colorum sila
DTI. So, and Colorum, and then how about the PNP, the HPG, the LTO? Pwede na kayo manghimasok dito. Panguliin nyo sila. Are you guys wearing uniform? Ano bang uniforme ng Maxim Taxi?
Senator Nancy is recognized.
With the permission of Senator Tulfo, hindi mo ba pwedeng i-down yung app nun?
DTI.
Or DICT?
DICT pala.
I-down pala muna, I agree. I-disable muna, i-down muna yung apps ninyo kasi Colorum pala kayo eh. And ito, may ebidensya na tayo.
Senator JB, may mga nagre-report nga sa kanya. Paano siya?
Sino ang pwede mag-down ng app, makapag-utos? Siguro DTI. DTI, can you order Maxim to disable their app?
Mr. Chan.
Gusto ko lang po mag-comment dun sa pag-down na app. Although, sa part po namin, marami rin po kasi kaming mga rider na nasa Maxim at the current time. Siguro po, pwede po natin munang i-review na wala po muna silang hailing services for safety purposes na lang din po. Pero,
So Madam Chair, parang imo-modify natin yung capability ng app nila. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Siyempre maraming hanap buhay ang nakasalalay dito. Sen Tulfo.
I know, Madam Chair, pero how about the safety of the passengers?
Exactly. Hindi sila rehistrado.
Yes.
So paano ngayon yan?
Kasi kapag naka-aksidente sila sa pasahero, hindi mababayaran ng insurance. Kasi ang insured lang, yung cargo, yung gamit na pinadeliver sa kanila.
Oh, yan,
The passengers are not protected. So therefore, i-down na tong apps. Yeah.
Mr. Morales, anong comment mo dito?
Right. Good afternoon, honorable senators. Actually, with regards to Maxim really is a ride-hailing company. When we started, since this is an international company, part of the company is international. So this is really a ride-hailing company. So when it got business here, that year, yes, we are really strictly telling riders. Because I am also a city manager, I also handle one city, which is Bacolod. In my jurisdiction, I have really restricted drivers from taking passengers.
But what can you say about this incident?
For this incident, Madam Chair, since as what our attorney has said, the app is open sourced. We don't really have, since these are a third part, we consider riders as third party, we don't really have complete control over them on what we do. So we really depend on customer complaints. If there are any customer complaints, then we block the login number of specific
Yung app,
riders.
galing sa inyo yung app na yan?
Yes, we have because...
So how can you not control the app that you developed?
Actually, Madam Chair, we have been trying to remove. We have already instructed our IT department to remove this motorcycle because this motorcycle was the source of this booking. All right, and before there were some, how do you call it, man? Like for example, if you book motorcycle, there's a need for this option for choose whether you have your own helmet or what. We have removed all those things because we don't want our customers now to be booking Maxim as a ride hailing, and we only operate as a delivery service po.
Pero, excuse me, Madam Chair, pero naman, Mr. Morales, hindi mo ba sinubukan, tulad itong ginawa ni Mr. Chan, kung yung inyong mga tauhan ay gumagawa ng tama o mali?
We have really tried, Mr. Chair.
You tried.
We have
So when you
random
tried, ano pong na...
we have random check and we found out that, but again,
So nung
on our side,
na-find out nyo na meron nga palang gumagawa ng hindi tama, which is nagsasakay,
we
ng
block those riders, Mr. Chair.
So why don't you continuously do it?
We will take note on that and starting today.
Kasi, random ginawa, pumayag.
Yes po, rest assured that starting today, we will be stringent and we will try to, how do you call it?
Kasi, Madam Chair, I'm pro-labor and everybody knows that. I would like to inform everybody. Pero kung kapakanan naman, safety and security ng mga pasahero at stake, doon na lang ako dun sa kapakanan ng mga pasahero na kapag na-disgrasya, hindi sila protektado dahil illegal nga at hindi babayaran ng insurance yung mga aksidente pasahero. Maging rider na lang mismo. Diba? Para sa kapakanan na rin ng rider. So, tama nga yung suggestion ni Senator Binay na i-down na muna yung app, DTI. Hanggat hindi sila na-aprobahan ng LTFRB yung kanilang application.
What we can do, Mr. Chair, Senator Rafi, we can just disable that option for motorcycle.
So that means you haven't disabled it. So you left it there.
Yes,
That's
Madam Chair.
malicious already.
At saka, Madam Chair, meron pang tricycle eh. Oh.
Ano nga.
Oh.
So,
May tricycle pa.
alam mo, ayaw kong mawala ng trabaho yung mga nakasalalay dun sa ano ninyo. Pero pagdating nga dun sa kaligtasan, mahirap kasi anong standard ninyo? Hindi pa kayo na-accredit. So ayaw ko naman mabuwag yung kumpanya nyo, pero alisin ninyo yung options na hindi kayo binibigyan ng permit.
Actually, Madam Chair, pag nagsara sila, andyan naman yung joyride, andyan yung angkas, Mario Joseph, andyan yung tok-tok, o easy way, magsilipatan lang doon muna. Ngayon, kung pag nabigyan na kayo ng permit, pwede na bumalik sa inyo. How's that? Sa ngayon kasi unfair competition.
Yes,
but
we
you're
will
doing unfair competition. Pinapatay nyo rin yung hanap buhay nito mga legit na mga riders from Joyride, from Angkas, from Tok Tok, from Grab, from Easy Way. Di ba?
Honorable Senator Rafi, with regards to the pricing, I think it's being dictated by the market. We have some prices.
Maski na, illegitimate kayo, kolorum kayo eh.
No, we're talking about the delivery po.
No, dito sa pag sasakay ng mga pasahero. Since delivery nga kayo, pero nagsasakay kayo ng pasahero, so nababiolate nyo yung inyong permit, so dapat masara muna kayo for the meantime. Kasi kahit na i-down mo pa itong sabi mo yung nakalagay na taxi motorcycle, ginagawa pa rin pala ng mga rider mo yung magsakay ng pasahero. And again, ulitin ko, for the end time, ang kapakanan ng pasahero ang ano ko rito, ang iniisip. At kapanan ng mga rider ninyo, paano kung na-disgrasya? Na-aksidente, namatay? Ano mangyari? Pupunta sa wanted sa radyo, magreklamo. Sir, hindi ako binayaran ng Maxim. Anong gagawin ko sa'yo? Di ba? Ganun nangyari. Magreklamo yung Madam Chair na na-aksidente yung rider, na-aksidente yung pasahero, tapos walang pambayad sa ospital yung pasahero dahil pobre, sisingil yung Maxim, walang pambayad ng Maxim dahil walang insurance.
Alam mo, Senator Tulfo, yung staff ko, nag-try na ng Maxim ngayon. Pwede daw silang mag-ferry ng passengers.
O see?
So, take out that option. Kasi Grab did it. Didn't Grab remove that option for ferrying passengers?
Yeah, we don't have.
So they don't have
that.
it. So why can't you do it? If you want to remain a delivery company, like Lala Move.
With due respect, Madam Chair, yes, we will do that recommendation.
When?
ASAP po. ASAP.
As in, okay, as up today?
I'm trying to communicate with our headquarters and we are doing that one right away. Today.
I suggest also, Madam Chair, alisin ang salitang taxi. Siguro. Kasi people will still, when they see that app, akala nila taxi na pwedeng magsakay ng mga pasahero. Baguhin nyo muna siguro for the meantime, yung pangalan nyo, ilalagay nyo Maxim for delivery only. Para sigurado. Maxim for delivery only. Oh, how's that?
With that due respect, Mr. Senator, our real name is Taxi Philippines Incorporated. We are operating under the brand of Maxim Rides and Delivery Services. So we're just getting ready because we are also have pending application for TNC and MC Taxi.
Hindi nga, for the meantime, di sabihin nyo, di ba, pag pumasok sa application ninyo, bubukas yun, lagay kayo ng notice, kami ay delivery only. Hindi pwedeng pampasahero, pending pang application namin. Para yung nagpunta sa inyo, ay wala palang wala pa palang permit to. Pag na-aksidente ako, yari ako rito. Tatawag na lang sa Grab, tatawag na lang sa Angkas, tatawag na lang sa Joyride. O sa Easy Way, o sa Tok Tok.
Siguro dapat magkaroon kayo ng abiso. Kasi, nung umpisa, pinapayagan ninyo, baka malito yung mga ano. So, in the meantime that you're changing this option, lagay kayo ng abiso. Delivery lang po kami.
Yes. How's that? Yeah.
We will do that.
Can you do that
Yes,
yesterday?
Today po.
Today
po. We will do that.
Okay.
We will be posting on our social. We will be doing that on our social media site po, ASAP po.
Okay, good.
you know what, colleagues, I think we're okay unless you have other questions. We are JV, Senator JV.
Madam Chair, before we end, first of all, I'm also a rider and I have seen from the start under your committee. The time, Madam Chair, hindi po ako pro angkas na nagkataon lang na ito yung suot na kulay ko. But I have seen how sila George back then, we started. That's why we have, this committee pushed for the Provisional Authority for Motorcycle Taxis back then. Sa totoo lang at that time, Madam Chair, na ano rin ako noon. Ano yun? It was a risk because as a rider myself, I know the dangers of being on two wheels. Ngayon, magfe-ferry pa tayong passenger. But Madam Chair, I had the experience, sila George and the other companies, pinakita po nila sa akin yung training. I had the chance to see it. And being on the road all the time, pag hindi nakabisikleta, nakamotor, in fairness po, yung Grab, Angkas, Joyride, Move It, Lala Move, most of these courier riders and motorcycle taxis are more disciplined than the other riders on the road. So, Madam Chair, I'm a witness, pero hindi naman lahat. Minsan may kamote pa rin lumalabas. Pero sana bigyan nyo yung numbers so how we can report those drivers so that they can be blacklisted or at least ma-reprimand. But again, Madam Chair, I'm very happy that this pilot authority that we have given, naging successful. Sa totoo lang, medyo nagdalawang isip ako noon. Pero at least yung 0.003% accident rate is really something that an achievement. So at least hindi tayo nagkamali, Madam Chair, in supporting this pilot authority to operate. So I guess it's about time that we already pass this measure so that they will already have a basis for operations. So yun lang po, Madam Chair.
Actually, I would like to give recognition to George. You really professionalized this sector. So from the very beginning, you've always emphasized safety. Hindi naman sa binibigyan namin ng bias yung angkas, but diba, they were the pioneers. Sila talaga, they paved the way for all of you to come in. Kung hindi sila nakiusap, nag-explain, nagbigay ng example, wala lahat dito, Joyride, Grab, etc. for the ride-sharing app. So, I hope we encourage more innovation and more investors to come in the country. But that's why we have to make sure that our laws are enforced. Because if the laws are not enforced, then there's not a level playing field. Nobody will want it. Nag-Public Service Act pa tayo. Walang pupunta rito. Diba? So,
Madam Chair?
Yes, Senator Nancy.
Before we end lang, meron mo bang pag-aaral yung DOTR kung ilang motorsiklo yung kaya ng road networks natin? Like, can EDSA accommodate, 5 million motorcycles? May ganun ho ba kayong study? Because Madam Chair, parang dun magde-depend din yung gaano kadaming motorcycles yung bibigyan natin ng prangkisa. Kasi remember, aside from itong mga motorcycle taxis, meron din tayong mga individual motorcycles, which, ewan ko, may data ba kayo na ilan na ho ba yung registered motorcycles in the Philippines?
Madam, yung sa ano po, sir, number po ng registered motorcycles, meron pong data sa LTO po yon yearly po.
So nakakailan na ho tayo ngayon?
Sa year 2023 po, ang nasa datos po namin, ang total motor vehicle registered po kasi nasa around 13 million po. Out of that 13 million po, nasa 8 million po yung mga motorsiklo po. But to be exact po, Senator, isasend na lang po namin yung exact figure po.
So at the moment, meron na tayong 8 million motorcycles?
Apo, around 8 million po. Out of the 13 million motor vehicle registered with LTO po.
Okay. And then, so may ganun ba kayong pag-aaral?
Doon po sa topic na nasabi niyo, ma'am, idadagdag din po namin yon as we go along with the pilot study po kasi hindi pa po namin yun na natatouch po yung portion of it.
Sige, we should also consider kasi ngayon as we increase the bike lanes, isa pa din yun dun sa makakadagdag dun sa gagamit ng mga kalsada natin. Yun lang po, Madam Chair.
Mr. Ortega.
Yeah, sandali lang po naman to, Madam Chair. Like na-mention po namin with Senator Tulfo earlier. So on the part po of the Office of Transportation Cooperatives and the OTR family po, once maisabatas or mangyari na po yung pagtulong ninyo dito sa mga riders po na maging legal po, we are glad with the statement coming from Angkas and sa discussion po dito that they are interested na sumama po sa kooperatiba po. Yung mga riders natin, that will be of big help kasi magkakaroon sila ng mga economic benefits under a cooperative po. And also in the future po, siguro po yung mga cooperative po, magkakaroon ng kooperatiba ng riders po para dito sa magiging batas. Yun lang po.
Madam Chair, makasingit lang. LTO and also itong transport cooperative. Ano po yung plano nyo dun sa habal-habal? Hindi nyo pa ako nasagot totally. Yung mga nasa probinsya na mga kolorom na nagsasakay ng 4-5 pasahero sa isang motorsiklo? What's your plan?
Senator, yung sa side po ng Colorum, number 1 po kasi si LTO, may jurisdiction po siya sa mga Colorum po ng habal-habal. Pag hindi po sa LTFRB, sa amin po sa LTO. So yung ang penalty po for that is 6,000 po pesos, and then pwede rin pong ma-revoke yung registration po nila at maaari din pong ma-impound yung motorcycle units po nila for a minimum of 3 months po. So ngayon pong pag-usapan po natin dito yan, aside from i-intensify po ng enforcers namin yon, kung dadaan po sila sa due process po at pwede po silang maano po ng administrative penalty.
Pero honestly, Madam Chair, ayaw ko naman silang makulong. Naghahanap buhay mga yun, may mga pamilya din yon, right? At yung motor na yon, pinaghirapan nilang mag-ipon. Yung iba, inutang pa sa 5-6 para magkaroon ng motorsiklo at gawing hanap buhay. Ang gusto ko lang siguro is to reach out to them. Tell them, educate them na bawal itong ginagawa nyo. Bigyan sila ng warning at meron naman Angkas, meron naman Joyride, meron naman Grab na pwede kayo mag-enlist at maging legit na kayo. How about that? Come up with a program na para to reach out to these people. Ito mga habal-habal.
Senator, we will do that po, yung pag-reach out po. Aside from that po, yung portion po kasi nung pilot study po natin, yung areas of operation niya po kasi Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and CDO po. So may mga ibang portions po ng habal-habal na hindi pa po siya na-cover ng MC taxi po. Gaya po ng iba pong
pagkakataon niya na, mga kumpanya na mag-expand sa iba't ibang probinsya. Marami sa Davao, sa Bohol, sa Zamboanga, Cagayan, it's all over itong habal-habal. Malaking negosyo yan, Angkas. Ba't di kayo mag-expand dun? Yes, sir.
Thank you po, Madam Chairman. In fact, Madam Chairman, we already have an LOI for multiple provinces that's been really asking. We'll continuously work naman with the technical working group to submit those and try to see if we can do a small pilot. Maliit lang po na pilot. What I see po, once yung batas matapos na po, there will be regional and local players. Hindi lang naman po Angkas, Joyride, or Move It, or Grab yan. Meron din po magiging sa Pangasinan lang po or sa Dagupan lang po. And we are willing to teach them. We want to be able to provide them a program for the safety. We want to teach also the potential local operators there. Kasi kung ano yung mangyari po sa kanila, sabit din po kami, sa totoo lang. So we want to make sure lahat po safe, kahit yung mga maliliit na players. So we're willing to offer, to share our expertise with them.
Itong pwede yung gawin, LTFRB and LTO, give them a warning. Advertise na we're giving you until such, kunyari, 3 months na kayo mga nasa habal-habal, tumigil na kayo, mag-sign up na lang kayo kung ano yung preferred nyo na taxi motorcycle company. We give you 3 months. After 3 months, panghuli namin kayo. At least you gave them warning. How's that, LTO or Mr. Ortega? What do you think? Or LTFRB? At least, naging mabait kayo sa kanila.
Yes, Senator. That's a good suggestion po and we will do that, sir.
Yeah. Sa sinabi niyo naman po, Senator, once maging batas po to, ang gagawin po ng Office of the Transportation Cooperative, dahil yung mga habal-habal na sa probinsya, parang grupo na sila, sila po yung uunahin naming lalapitan para mas madali na maging kooperatiba sila dahil grupo na sila. We will guide them to be a better organization pa. Thank you.
Ipagbawal na yung sumakay na maraming pasahero. Isa lang,
Definitely.
isa lang. Nakita mo na yan, Senator JV? Hindi lang, 5. May kahoy pa, kuminsan 10 pa eh.
Madam
Isa,
Chair,
pinaka-
yung may plywood sa gitna, di ba? May kahoy sa gitna.
Yung may, para magbalanse. Napakadelikado yun.
Miss LB,
Madam Chair, Senators, I would like to put some input. We have had our experience with the PUV modernization where the old jeepney drivers were already organized into cooperatives, and they have learned how to become modern drivers using modern vehicles. So would it be possible that this habal-habal follow the footsteps of those drivers who have been modernized and are already self-empowered in order that they can pursue the same kind of operations and be legalized?
that is noted. I'm sure that they can do that. But in the interest of time, Mr. Morales.
Madam Chair, thank you for this opportunity. Would like to inform the body that that option for motorcycle ride hailing in our app has been removed already. Thank you very much.
Yan, so pwede naman. Actually, we could be harsher in terms of reprimanding you. Because pumasok ka dito, sinabi mo hindi kayo kolorum. Pero clearly, nakita natin hindi ganon. So warning shot lang to ha. Huwag niyong ibalik yan, option na yan. Kung hindi, iko-contempt ka namin dito. So Senator JV.
Yes, Madam Chair, before we end, although probably all the companies here no sa motorcycle taxis, the courier services, know that this committee under Chairman Grace has been very supportive of this program. But I just want, meron kasi mga issue rin that I want to be addressed also. No? Kasi may mga nagre-report that during rush hours, nagkakaroon ng price surge. No? That's natural kasi po, peak hours yan. Ang problema daw, yung pong surge, hindi naman daw nabibigay yung sa driver, yung kaukulang price increase. So that has to be addressed by siguro quickly lang po. Siguro Angkas, Joyride, and others may address this. Kasi ano to issue? Although we support this, no? Pero kailangan din na masagot nyo rin siguro itong issue ito. Sige, George, please.
Senator Ejercito, we don't have price surge po at this point. Thank you.
Okay. Joyride, si Mr. Meneses.
Senator, wala po kaming surcharge.
So sino meron sa Grab? Yung sa 4 wheels lang ba yun? So sa 2 wheels, wala tayong surge, even peak hours. So si Grab na lang, probably if you can, Mr. Lim, if you can address this complaint. It's difficult to get to book every peak hours. So,
Yeah.
and then there's a surge. So does it go to the driver?
Yes, the bulk of the so maybe explain the purpose of search first. So because we are a marketplace, the mechanism of a search is to allow the marketplace to find a price in which you can balance demand and supply. So whenever there is lack of supply, meaning lack of drivers on the road, there will be a search. And as a result, drivers are encouraged to come onto the platform, earn a little bit more, and we can fulfill the demand. So that's how the search work. And the search mechanism is regulated by LTFRB as well. The second point I would say is that because of COVID, there has been some quite deep disruptions in terms of the marketplace. And so before COVID, during COVID, a lot of the drivers have left the industry. And so when, for example, during the Christmas period, gratefully, the economy activities surged back again for Philippines. We find that there was not a lot of drivers left. And so there was quite persistent surge. We're quite grateful that the supply has started to come back with the support from LTFRB as well. We're also seeing prices actually have come down about 20% on the 4-wheel side since December. And with more supply coming in, we are quite hopeful that the the price of ride hailing for 4 wheels at least would become much more moderate.
But every time there's a surge, of course, that's part, I explained it, the reason for this feature, does it go to the driver as well?
Yes, so we will take our commission so that we can, of course, invest in the platform, but most of the such money goes to our drivers. Again, that's also part of the design so that we can encourage drivers to come online and serve.
Even during peak hours, no, it's difficult.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes because I order, especially peak hours, it's difficult to book even for delivery. So you need priority so that they will accept because it's peak hours. So that's part of the program.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we end, Madam Chair, again, thank you. I'd like to congratulate, not congratulate, but give recognition to what the motorcycle taxis have been doing, no, ride hailing, for safety. No? And again, as a rider myself, I'm a witness on the discipline that they have compared to others. So hopefully it can rub off to other riders as well. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Before I recognize Senator Nancy, Ms. Hamon, Grace?
Yes. Thank you for the committee's insistence that I come. I came from Cebu. I'm based there. But I could not miss this because I was there from the beginning. And congratulations to, of course, our chair na ina-handle niya to in Tagalog at naintindihan ng lahat, pati publiko. Congratulations for the pilot. Ang tanong, hanggang kailan tayo magiging pilot? So I would like to suggest that I think marami ng panahon at marami ng learnings ang natutunan natin. So let's get down to business and legislate this one into a policy so that everyone will be protected. Salamat din sa agad-agad na pagsagot kasi totoo yun. Violation po ng practice yan, fooling the public that, fooling the public. Sorry, I'm so blatant, yeah. But this group has raised the bar very high. In terms of training, institutionalization pa, sa TESDA. Si George may vision talaga at saka itong mga nag-comply. So, nakakatuwa po because this is very important to making now the law. I think let's sit down and do the law so that regulation can happen, protection can happen for both riders, and the owners also, as well. Thank you.
Very beautiful summary, Ms. Hamon. Thank you. Siguro pagka-retire na si George, siguro pag mga 60, pwede ka nang mag-LTFRB. Pwede. hindi ngayon. Pero pag matanda ka na, bata ka pa eh.
Kaya, Madam Chair, may opening pa naman ngayon.
Nako, teka, controversial ata to Ewan ko kung bibitawan ni George yung sa bagay, his wife can help. Anyways, Nancy, you're right.
Just 2 points, Madam Chairperson. Well, one, magkano ho ba yung take-home pay ng ating mga riders? Siguro this is one way to encourage more players kasi parang based on your statement today, mukhang parang declining yung interested na pumasok sa ganitong trabaho. And then second point, ano ba yung grievance mechanism? Kasi, Madam Chair, kung hindi pa tayo nag-hearing ngayon, hindi natin malalaman na may ganun palang violation itong Taxi Philippines.
Yung grievance.
So, those 2 points. I guess, yes, George, please answer how much yung take home and then yung grievance mechanism.
I'll give you the average po. So the average full time is roughly around 1,500 pesos yung gross. Mga 200 yung gasolina for the day. And roughly, for a good motorcycle, mga 200 pesos yung lumalabas na daily loan rate. Kung i-araw-araw mo yung monthly interest, 200. Tapos pagkain, another 100 siguro, minsan may baon sila. So mga 1,000 pesos yung take home. Pag part-time, ang take home nila roughly around 800 thereabouts. Doon po naglalaro
So
yun.
full time ilang oras sa isang araw yun?
Yung oras basically 4 hours sa umaga, 4 hours sa gabi. Kasi yung sa gitna matumal. Talagang morning rush hour and evening rush hour lang
Ibig
po.
mo sabihin, mas malaki sa minimum wage yung kinikita nila. Bawas na
Opo.
lahat,
Malayo
1,000
po.
take home.
Oo, malaki po. Yes.
Pero Madam
Even
Chair,
in the province, konti lang po yung discount. Hindi rin po naglalayo.
pero Madam Chair, wala pa yung mga hulog sa SSS.
Wala pa. Ano lang po, ang tinanggal ko lang po doon loan, yung loan sa motorsiklo, we assume that, yung gasolina, pati yung pagkain dun sa araw na yan.
Because at some point, Madam Chair, gusto rin naman natin na maging member sila ng PhilHealth, ng SSS, tsaka ng Pag-ibig.
Pero sa 1,000, mga magkano yung SSS doon? 1,000 a day. So that's, let's say they work 5 days a week. So that's 20,000 pesos a month. Okay. So, sino ba dito yung mga alam sa HR? Mga magkano SSS nun?
Di ba percentage? Alam ko lang Pag-ibig, 100 pesos.
A month?
A month.
So siguro hindi naman ganun kalaki. So it has to be encouraged na lang.
Ma'am, marami po sa, sorry Madam Chair, may I?
Go ahead, please.
Marami po sa kanila actually SSS at Pag-ibig. What we do is we have a kiosk in the office and we help facilitate. We pay it on their behalf. Tapos as fringe benefit po, we offer not necessarily government benefits but other benefits like health insurance, yung mga ganun po.
Pero kayo wala kayong share.
Wala po. They're considered independent contractors. Kasi hawak po nila yung oras nila. We cannot mandate them to work a day or a time.
Thank you. So yung second question, yung second point, yung katulad nito na discover natin ngayong hearing na to na may ganung violation. So kanina pwede magsumbong?
Siyempre, dapat mabilis automatic LTFRB. Kami po. Ganun ang sagot.
Actually, Madam Chair, the office receives complaint ang LTFRB. However, we forward it to the MC Taxi Technical Working Group. Sila po ang nag-handle po if there are complaints.
Sino yon? Sino yung head doon?
Si Attorney Chofilo Guadis.
Ba't wala siya dito? Hindi namin kasi siya kilala eh. Paano siya makikilala nung iba? But anyway, okay. So make it clear na lang. Maybe put up a desk in LTFRB. Put it in your website. If you have any complaints about the MC taxis or whatever, doon na lang pumunta. But,
Hindi, yun lang, Madam Chair. Kasi nga, kung hindi pa tayo nag-hearing ngayon, walang ganitong kabilis na solusyon. So maybe, can you just submit to the committee kung ilang complaint na na-receive nyo with regards to taxi? Yun lang po, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yes, we will do, Madam Chair.
okay. First of all, I think we have to end this in a good note. And that is, I think we have strong support to legislate legalizing motorcycles for hire so that there is stability also in that sector. Hindi yung parang pag nag-iba, ihip ng hangin, iba na yung head ng LTFRB, iba na naman yung policy. So we want to institutionalize this, and we'd also like to thank those of you who participated for setting a good standard. We definitely have a need for this right now. So to our resource persons, thank you for your time. Medyo lagpas na for lunch, but I hope, Mr. Lim, I hope you have a nice time here in the Philippines. When are you leaving? Tomorrow? That's not enough time to explore. I'm sure George can show you around. Yes. With the angkas. Yeah, with the angkas. We have a delicious food here and a lot of things to do. So enjoy your one day here in the Philippines. So to everyone, thank you very much. This meeting is now adjourned.